Welcome back to Diversified Diecast. Tonight it's going to be Johnny Lightning, and a little sneak peek on the back side. That's going to be some team transports. Finally found this guy. Okay, it's like finding the elusive Easter egg. I got these at Target. Not going to tell you which one. I don't scout. I don't hold back, but I do have a Target that I go to. I'm not even remotely telling anybody where it's at. So any of my guys that are in the Houston area that are friends of mine on some pages, just tough titty. Okay. But I was able to find that one today. So we'll do a video on it tonight after we do the Giant Lightnings. And I actually found these four at the same Target a week or two ago. Been hanging on to these. And this Matchbox Collectors was also there when I bought this one today. I had the Legends Tour, I think, I actually passed on that, and a buddy of mine got that for me, so I'll open it up with those other team transports. I was starting to put the Moon Eyes up tonight. I put some of them up that I had that didn't go to a buddy of mine down south in a trade pile, and I made a bunch of trade posts. And these are the ones I'm keeping, and a few others that may not be here. They're already put in bags. I was writing all the bags. I just said, look, I got to knock out a film, or at least one or two tonight. So I can do this tomorrow after baseball when time's kind of limited or what have you. So we'll jump right in. These are 2025 releases. I think they're all released too. What's cool about these is there's only 3 in this release, and of course, missing the 67 Shelby GT 500. But I do have color variant A, color variant B of this one, 69 Dodge Coronet, and then color variant A, color variant B of the 66 Buick Skylark. And anybody who knows me knows I have a heartthrob for a Buick. It ain't even gotta be a muscle car. I mean, Le Sabre or Le Sabre, as some of us know it. You name it, man. I mean, all models. The muscle car, my favorite one is a Buick GSX. I don't really care. I like them all. I dig Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, all of them. But we'll cut these open, do a roll check on them. I'm kind of curious to see the quality of the 2025 release Giant Lightnings. Maybe they finally stepped their game up a little bit. The last Giant Lightnings we opened up were kind of hit or miss. So who knows? Maybe these are spot on. They're in really good shape. I mean, the cards are really perfect. And they look okay as far as tires and wheels, but this one's got a little out of round tire, I see. I mean, the rest of them look pretty good. This one had a white base on it, but it didn't have a white interior. I was about to say, oh. So, anyway, we'll get right into these, cut them open, check them out, do a roll test on them, and see what we got. So, like I said, 69 Dodge Coronet RT convertible. This is version A. This is the Muscle Car USA series. Again, 2025, release 2. Some of the muscle facts on this one, it says, let me get this thing busted off of here and we'll have a little literature session. All right, so the ad slogan, the Dodge Rebellion wants you. Appealed to younger buyers, tapping into the counterculture movement of the late 1960s. Dodge produced only 317 units of the Coronet RT convertible in 69. Wow, that's really low numbers. I would have never dreamed that the convertibles would have been that low. But when you think of these cars, they are predominantly hardtops. And man, the paint on this thing it's right. It's like a copper bronze. Really nice. But I can already tell you this thing isn't going to want to roll very good. Got some flat spottage. See that right there? That's the passenger front and the driver's rear. So, little surgery. Nothing we're not used to. Little preventative maintenance here. Front plate says road. So I'm assuming the other color variant we'll see what kind of mystery that holds. Maybe there's some kind of Easter egg there. And that passenger front is awesome. 2-piece wheel. Why does Giant Lightning do that, man? I can't stand that. All right, so we'll pull this off because it's not even going to remotely roll good. We'll pull this off, try to get this front tire sync back up, snap it back on. I guess the only advantage to having these 2-piece wheels, the Giant Lightning does, is it does make them a little easier to come off, to do the roadside repair, if you will. But it's still, it's not my favorite. All right, roll check. It's okay. Would have been way worse if. Ooh, well, I need to see the collision center if we keep that up. Not too bad. It's got, some lumps and bumps in there, but man, this car is really nice. The paint on this thing is sharp. Pretty cool. It's got a big long throw 4-speed in there. The convertibles, they always do up kind of nice because obviously you're going to see the interior. They even have the painted visors. It's a really cool touch. Undercarriage is kind of plain Jane. Get y'all underhood shot since we're not going to be pan camera forward, if you will. And I apologize if the light isn't perfect. Here's the interior. All right, not bad. Not the greatest, but the paint is really nice. The details are really nice. The only really gripe I had is the tires, which opportunist, got to expect that from Giant Lightning. Okay, same thing, 2025, release 2. This is version B of the same car. 69 Dodge Coronet RT convertible. We'll get this one out, see if it's any better. I'll read y'all the muscle facts off the side. That color on that one is copper poly, paint code 2031, according to the card. All right, muscle facts on this one. The base engine for the Dodge Coronet RT trim was a 440 Magnum, producing 375 horsepower. I can't remember. I'm not sure if that one was cross ram, like a wedge, if you will, or that was a 6-pack. Dodge is 6-pack, Plymouth, and Chrysler's 6-barrel. With only 10 units made, the rarest of the 1969 Corvette convertibles were equipped with a 426 Hemi. 10 units. 10. So that means in 69, if you wanted a Coronet RT convertible with a Hemi, there was only 9 others like it. And I'd be curious to see what the color variants were available in those 10 units. So this one says track. So on the version A, it says road, and version B, it says track. RT/road track. Very cool. See, it's all these little hidden Easter eggs, man. You gotta be like, Bosch or, Andy Sipowicz from MIPD Blue. God, I love that show. It's on all the time in the office, my earpiece at work, when I'm cranking out stuff on the screens, the ride to and from work. Yes, I do that when I drive. Don't judge. But you gotta be sleuthy. You gotta investigate and check things out because you'll overlook some clues. This one's pretty much the same as that. I'm having a real hard time. Much better roll quality. Tires on this one look a lot better as far as fitment, and the roll is, I'd give it a C. So we're probably at a 75 out of 100, or maybe like a 78. Not quite a B student because you can hear this on camera. But the rest of the car, the way the hood's open, compared to previous Johnny Lightnings and the overall fit and finish and detail, they're an A minus. They're pretty nice. Details on the grill are really nice too. Get y'all a shot of this interior. This car looks really good in this color combo. Something different. I'm a big silver fan. My daily is a bright silver metallic Ram, and previous car my wife owned was a GM bright silver. And it's a good color for down here. You know, Southeast Texas, it's hot. You know, we get all kinds of birds and weather, and you know, white. It's a fleet truck. I mean, I like white, but every time I see white, I think of a fleet vehicle. Black. Let me tell you something about black. My father loved black vehicles. My cousin, who's like a big brother to me, he loves black vehicles. Certain friends I grew up with, they love black vehicles. When you wash and take care and detail and wax and all that BS of a black vehicle, you don't even want to ride in a black vehicle, much less own one. So I have become very fond of silver metallic or bright silver or whatever, because it's different than white. It's not pewter. Everybody that pewter craze. I had one, you know, in the early 2000s. It's a nice color, but everybody had it. It's a good fit. So anytime I see flat silver, matte silver, metallic silver, bright metallic, subtle metallic, Zamac for that matter, I kind of gravitate to it. You know, it looks good on just about any vehicle. You know, die-cast or real, and I like it. Like I've become very fond of the GM color code or the GM color combination with Saratoga silver and white. I've seen that color combo on many trucks, especially from the, you know, round headlight, square bezel, square bodies and blazers. I didn't really give it too much thought until I get a little older and I start appreciating them again. And that thing on a fleet side, long bed or short bed, or on a K5, yeah, that's that's where it's at. You can thank Vice Grip Garage for that. But back to diecast. Again, pretty good roll quality. 2025, they're better for sure. 2022 and 2023 Giant Lightnings are actually pretty fair. A lot of the 2024s that I opened up, which haven't been many, off camera and on camera, they're like they had a little skip in their step. But hopefully these Buicks will help hold the title for that car number 2, and it'll just be just as good. So again, same year, same release. This is the 66 Buick Skylark GS. This is version A. This is version B. So they're kind of backwards on these two models. The silverish car was version B. This is Seafoam Green, which was a fairly popular color on a lot of GM vehicles in the 60s. If I'm not mistaken, I think my grandfather, I didn't know him. He was long gone. My dad's dad. He had a mid-late 60s Chevrolet, this color. I can't remember if it was a Biscayne or a Bel Air, or it was one of them big old boats, 2-door. And I remember it was one of the later cars that he had before he died in 70 or 71. And every time I see this color, I think about my dad telling stories about getting the wash bucket out and going to work on that thing, you know, before school, after school, weekends. Couldn't drive nothing dirty. It's a cardinal sin. All right, so this one says gray on the license plate. Much better. This will make you want to buy Giant Lightnings. I mean, has very little pull. Beautiful car. And these year models didn't get enough appreciation because the 69 and 70s kind of stole their thunder. But this is a really nice car. Muscle facts on this one: 65 GS had extra box frame rails and rear crossmember for chassis rigidity, borrowed from the full-size Buick engineering. Fact number 2: the GS was marketed as a gentleman's muscle car, and that is absolutely true. Often with power windows, AC, tilt wheel, or even air conditioning. You got to give it to them, man. Oldsmobile kind of catered to that. Same audience in that regard. Pontiac did it as well, but the Pontiac, I don't know. I didn't grow up as a baby boomer. I grew up around a lot of them. But when you think of a more refined, more elegant, subtle muscle car, it's definitely a Buick GS, or kind of the hybrid, if you will, the Riviera. That really wasn't a muscle car, but those things had big motors and big power, and they moved. And whenever they're dialed in and they're done right, you cannot beat a better car from the mid '60s than a Buick Riviera. There's just something about the width and the size of the interior, and those cars have beautiful lines. And I mean, they really nailed the styling back then. Same thing with Oldsmobiles, the Cutlass. I mean, the list goes on. So say what you want. That's a very accurate fact. That's why I like them. For one, that reason. Two, not every Tom, you know what, and Harry. Everybody wanted a Chevelle. Everybody wanted a Nova. Everybody wanted a Camaro. Don't be a follower. They're great cars and that's all nice, but I like to carve a different path. Go down a different trail. Kind of set your own precedents. So very nice. I hope this car is just as good. That this is probably one of my favorite John Lightnings I own currently, because I don't have this casting. I'm not sure if they've made this casting prior to this year. I have some other Buicks, a couple GSs, I think, maybe a Riviera or two from Giant Lightning. I can't remember what years they are, but I don't have this casting. So real treat. Okay, version B, same car, '66 Buick Skylark GS. Um, this one is Riviera Red Poly, paint code 71525. Again, these are all Muscle Cars USA line, from 2025 for Giant Lightning. And fun facts on this one. This is really cool. 1966 was the last hoorah for the 4-1 Nailhead V8. Rated at 3.25 horse, 445 foot-pounds of torque. Though marketed at only 400 cubic inches. Insurance purposes, if you will. Nailhead delivered a massive 445 foot-pounds of torque at just 2,800 RPM. Now, granted, that was only probably half the RPM range of that motor, but still, that's a substantial torque curve, making it a monster off the line against higher horsepower rivals. Again, claim to fame for the Buick GS in the later year models, 69, 70, and maybe 71. I can't remember. 70 for sure. The 455, that thing was so underrated on its horsepower ratings. I think it was 370 and 495 foot-pounds of torque. That thing was, or it may have been a little over 510, 520. That thing, I rode in one, and that'll sell you. I mean, it was an experience. And that car, it delivers raw power to the pavement. I mean, I know it's nothing like now. These cars were only, most of them were mid 13 or 14-second cars. But just the delivery of a carbureted motor, I mean, I can't explain it. You're riding a bunch of 10, 11, 12-second cars from nowadays. You're riding one of those old things, you're like, it's fast, but, and it sounds like it's faster than it really is. But, man, the torque is just, sometimes you just can't match it, right? But, so this one says Grand, this one says Sport. So, which is cool. So, on the Coronets, they're an RT model, road and track. And then the Buick Grand Sport GS, if you will, model. One variant is Grand, one variant is Sport. Very cool. Roll check. About the same as the other one. Food for thought, too. I've been doing a lot of looking at a diorama setup. I'm not sure if I want to do like a garage or like a dealership. I'm kind of bouncing around some things. I may end up getting a couple of them. That way, whenever I film, you're not seeing all the dust bunnies on my monitor, and you got some nice background to look at. I can park some other cars, in the back of these displays. Try to spruce it up a little bit. Try to keep the the valuable audience entertained. But just know I'm working on that. It's a work in progress, and it might take me a little bit, but I'm not forgetting about my viewers. So, okay, we cracked those open. Let's reposition ourselves here, get the turntable up on the wood peg, and get these things under the light and check them out. So, stand by real quick. Let me lean over the camera, hit the old pause button, and we'll be right back in just a second. All right, give y'all a little different shot. Check out the little snorkel intake hood and old packed in 440 in there. See how pretty the paint is in this thing? I tell you, the tires and the two-piece wheel thing, not a fan of. I know John Lightning started doing that at some point. But I will say this, the quality of their paint, the details have always been pretty good, and they have definitely elevated that some more for these 2025 releases. So whoever's been talking to them has done a pretty good job of trying to getting things straight. Oh, I tried to do that slick, but that didn't work. So they've listened to some feedback because I know they've had some quality issues before, but this right here should settle some reservations. What y'all think? All right, this is version B. Previous car is version A. Sorry, I forgot to remind everybody of that. Copper poly was the previous car, version A, and silver poly is the version B. Paint code 2016. Not sure which one I like more. I think if I had to really pick, it's probably gonna be this one. And I have a fondness for that copper poly, copper bronze, if you will, just because it's so different. But the color combination on this car is really nice with the red and silver. All right, version A, 66 Buick GS, really nice variant. Like the 401 nail head in there. Try to get this thing situated. I'm not really liking this camera view. This is that seafoam poly or seafoam metallic. Seafoam green, sorry. Man, what a beautiful car. White interior, white vinyl top. Excellent. All right, same thing. 66 Buick GS. This is version B. And the color on this one was, let me find the card here, Riviera Red Poly, 71525. Again, all these Giant Lightnings were 2025 release too. You should be able to find them hitting the shelves. Found these four at Target about 2 weeks ago. It killed me to not do a video on them because I was trying to wait to get the Mustang Chevy GT500 67. That's okay. I will find both of those at some point, and we'll throw them in on a Giant Lightning video later on down the road. So that's it for this one tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Got a few more subscribers today. Again, it just slowly just creeps and crawls and grows. More views as well. And I can't thank everybody enough for the support. I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. I had a good friend of mine tell me today that he really likes my YouTube channel. And that was good to hear because he criticizes everything, constructive or not. And it's just good to hear the feedback and content. Drop the comments in there, throw the likes up, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your mailman, tell your preacher, whatever suits your fancy. Okay, as long as you guys enjoying the content, we'll continue to be here and put the content out. So stay tuned. We're going to do the Teen Transport car culture from 2025. Those are going to be a real treat. We also have the Legends Tour transport thrown in there. We'll get that one done and get it uploaded tonight so I can have something to watch for the next day or two. Again, thanks for watching the Ver.A&B Diecast. You guys have a good night. God bless.